Anytime the state of Nebraska tries to enact property tax relief, they need to figure out how to pay for it. So what's being proposed is a 1 cent increase in the sales tax rate, as well as an expansion of the sales tax base. And that means that a number of goods and services that are currently exempted from sales tax will now start to have a sales tax on them. Candy, soda, and pop, dry cleaning services, pet grooming services, a new tax on advertising services, as well as a substantial increase in the cigarette tax, vaping products, and taxes on games of skill, as well as CBD and hemp products. On the side of property tax relief, what is currently being proposed is the removal of an income tax credit that taxpayers can claim for school district property taxes paid, as well as an expansion of a new type of state aid to schools called foundation aid. There isn't a formal proposal that's been introduced into the legislature yet on that. By being directed to the schools, the idea is to get schools to get more money from the state so they can take their property tax levies down. It will be distributed in very different ways. Likely, smaller school districts in rural parts of the state will see their levies decline substantially to the extent that they may become much more heavily reliant on the state to fund their schools. One of the things that we look at in school funding is how much equalization aid is provided to school districts. This is the state formula for determining school district needs and school district resources, so the state knows where to kick in. This property tax relief is going to make that formula a little bit less sensitive to the needs of schools. There's a few other ways that the state could consider reducing property taxes. There are proposals for a property tax circuit breaker, which would basically make property taxes a little bit more sensitive to the incomes of homeowners to make sure that they are able to afford their property taxes. That's a concept that's been introduced into the legislature this year. It was not included in the package. Other ways to think about reducing property tax burdens could be by reducing the percent at which ag land is taxed. Also not a concept that was taken up in the legislature this year. There has been some debate about working within the state aid formula for schools to try to change some of the levers around in that formula to more equitably distribute state aid. So there are a lot of options on the table, but at the end of the day, the state needs to have revenues in order to pay for that property tax relief, and they're in a challenging circumstance because they've already put themselves on the track to reducing state revenues through last year's income tax cuts.